Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pedro and Hannibal YouTube channel. That guy over there that's holding a basketball, the St. Louis basketball legend, street legend, when he's out there on the hard court or the soft court. It doesn't matter what kind of court, he's just going to dominate. Pedro, bet on you. Mr. Bet on you, actually. Sorry, excuse me. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. Don't forget the Mister, and don't forget Street Ball Legend.
Street Ball Legend.
I appreciate the phenomenal introduction. What's up, Hannibal? How are you tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I have a question. When the last time you played like a pickup basketball game?
About a year, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like last summer, last when it was warm.
Yeah. I used to play a lot pre-COVID, and then COVID happened. We was in a men's league, and it shut down. You know, gyms and schools are shut down, and it stopped. And there was I play outside during COVID, but that's just a little bit different. But it's been a while, man. Yeah, I used to play a lot. I used to play Sunday mornings, every Tuesday, Wednesday night. But as you get older, and you got to be careful you're not breaking your ankles and things, and ended up in the hospital. So the basketball's been a lot less. But
I don't know, bro. That's been a long time, and to be a street ball legend, you got to be outside. Posting up, shooting a J.
So maybe I'm losing my credibility. Maybe I got to get the street cred back. You might be right.
I've seen you shoot hoops a little bit. I see where you're at.
Mid.
I didn't say that. I just said I see where you're at. But it's all good. So yeah, this is going to be more of a NBA centric episode. So I understand it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I want to talk about basketball. So, and Pedro likes talking about basketball, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I do.
So before we get into the Doc Rivers stuff, because I have a lot to say about that. A quick NFL news I saw today. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So Jim Harbaugh is going back to NFL. He's going to coach the Los Angeles Chargers, which my thoughts are he stayed in Michigan and flopped for a minute, but it was always about making himself look good enough to go back to the NFL. Because as soon as he wins the championship, he could have ran it back. He has a very, obviously he finally got over the hill, of the mountain, so to speak. And as soon as he won, he was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's a bad opinion. His stock has never been higher coming off a national championship. He went to Michigan, right? That's his alma mater, or whatever they say. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. I would have loved for him to go to the Bears.
That'd be nice.
Like that, but there's some issues there with the ownership. So he went to a team with a really good quarterback. They got a new stadium. He's going to be in Vegas or wherever they're at. So, not Vegas, Los Angeles or wherever they're at. So I think it's it makes sense. I'm not surprised. He gave Michigan what they wanted. Started out though, they were getting beat for a while. Couldn't beat Ohio State. In the last few years, they've beaten them, I think, 3-4 times in a row. Yeah. So good for him. He made it back. He's going to make a lot of money. Really good coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. So I think this is a good move for him and them. And a lot of changes in the NFL. I feel like every year 6, 7, 8 coaches get fired. So we'll see, man. But not surprised. I'm a little more surprised what's going on in the NBA. But we'll get into that shortly. So
just one final thought. I've just thought, because it happens so quickly, and there's always NFL openings. And I agree. I think he's a solid coach. He was able to turn Colin Kaepernick into a damn near Pro Bowler, and then we know what happened after that. So they got a good quarterback over there in LA. Maybe they could turn some stuff around. It's going to be a little tougher because he's going to be in the AFC compared to the NFC, which the parity between the really bad and really good is pretty far compared to the AFC where everyone's pretty strong. So it's definitely a more difficult job, but I think he wanted to go back. He wanted to go back into the NFL. I think you're
right.
I think he got the job done. He brought a national championship to Michigan. He's like, fuck it, I'm out. Bobby said that NCAA chased him away. He was one of the people who were like pay these kids, right? I know he was definitely on that bandwagon in terms, not bandwagon, but that thought of kids should be getting paid. But what other issues that you may know of with Bobby saying that maybe
he was suspended for the first, I think, 4 games of the season for violating some. You guys let us know if you know the specifics, but I think it was some kind of scouting or something. Looking in the team, like, so he got the first 4 games. He separated. He had his assistant coaches. He had 3 or 4 different coaches be the head coach of the games, right? In one game, he had 2 different assistants, one in the first half, one in the second. And then something happened towards the end of the year. So, that could have been it. Who knows? Because I think the money, either way, he was going to make money at Michigan or in the NFL. I mean,
I don't think it was it may not have been a money thing.
So
but
it could have been it might have been that. It could have been something there.
Interesting. Yeah, because at this point, like as soon as he won, I'm wondering, when Nick Saban decided to retire, the game of college football is changing, just like college sports, right? The ability to make money, getting recruits. I think, like with Nick Saban, like, you know what, this is probably the best time to leave because it may not be as easy as it used to be. Bobby said it was petty scouting violations.
Super petty. Like, I feel like it was super petty. Yeah. And against all odds, they still won every game. They didn't lose one game. So, they had an amazing year for sure against all odds. So, pretty cool.
Definitely. So, we'll see how that goes. But let's get into the NBA stuff. But first, I want to just give a little love to Hector. I know he put a comment here. I just want to put up real quick. Appreciate it. I'm always checking your channel out. You may not know because I'm more of a lurker. I don't go in and join live streams and chat like some other people.
No. You're a super lurker.
I'm a super lurker. So I am checking you out when you don't think so, but I appreciate you. I know you and Matt are doing some cool stuff for the live stream. So, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Changed up a little bit, but I never did the I quit video. I'm not going to do that because there may be a topic about gig work that I may talk about. I don't want to do the whole, because then you come back like Jay-Z, Black Album comes out, I'm done. And I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna be done. And the album was pretty good. And then they comes back later with a mid album. I enjoyed it.
You're a lot smarter. I think Hannibal's a lot smarter than most of the people in our other segment of the gig community. As far as content creators, you're not.
Ask my chick about me being smart. But yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're a little more calculated because we've seen other people. I'm done. And they're back and they're forth. So you know what you're doing, man.
Listen, that algorithm brings you back. You know what I'm saying? You can't just talk about whatever you want to talk about. But this is something, I'm going straight into it. Doc Rivers is the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks.
What the fuck? I don't understand.
Thank you. All right, good. All
right. What is going on? So I think the Bucks have the second best record in the East when they fired their first year coach. The guy had only been there 1 year. Am I missing something here?
Adrian Griffin just started his coaching tenure. Yeah.
What are we missing? Did something happen we don't know about? I don't understand. Like,
Doc Rivers,
Damian Lillard and Giannis say, "Hey, we don't like this guy." Like, it had to have been player driven,
probably,
or he did something that we don't know about and it's not leaked yet. Because it doesn't make any sense at this point in the season when they're winning. I don't understand it. Maybe you guys in the chat could help us out. So
Carl just like Giannis is a crybaby and threw a fit and got his way.
I don't think Giannis is a crybaby. I don't know about that.
But the fact so when the news came out that Adrian Griffin was fired, on not Twitter, it's called what's it called X app, whatever. We're throwing out tons of jokes that Adrian Griffin said something about getting rid of Giannis's brother. And that's why he had to get fired. Like, it was all tons of jokes. I can't pronounce it. What's the dude's name? Starts with a T. Danis? Not Danis. Something like that.
And he's not that good. He's on the team because of his brother.
Is he an NBA player?
No. I mean, there's probably somebody else that's better, but because he's got his brother, he's on the team. And I'm not necessarily against that. You want to make Giannis happy. So if his brother's there, it's part of business. Businesses do it.
You'll be cool with that? You're owning a team and you have a top 3 player and he's like, bring my brother and let him ride the bench.
Yes, because he is a basketball. No, hold on. He is a basketball player. So it's not like he's playing pivotal minutes. He doesn't even play. So that spot that he's taken up isn't going to really help or break. It's not going to. It's indifferent to your team success, right? In my opinion, because he's not like he's playing a lot and he sucks. So for me, I have maybe an unpopular opinion, but Giannis helped you win a championship. They could win another couple. I don't mind it. We see this in businesses, and NBA is business, where you have the CEO's got his cousin or his uncle or his nephew working some some insignificant job, and he's on the payroll. Like, it is what it is. I don't see it as a big deal. Okay. But maybe Adrian Griffin spoke up, I guess, and he didn't like that. And good for the coach speaking up, but
I think something's going to leak out in a couple of days about exactly what happened. The only thing I've heard was that he lost the locker room, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious what that means, but how? With who? Usually when these things happen, there's like camps on this side is like, nah, the coach is good. Another side be like, nah, this trash. 3 head coaches, and they're all, well, we'll talk about Doc Rivers, but Mike Budenholzer, I think I'm pronouncing this correct, was a solid coach. I guess they thought this guy's not going to take us to the championship level. He'll take us to the conference finals maybe, but I'm like, all right, even though he was a solid coach and won the championship. Then they got the Adrian.
They were a number one last year. Hector, Hannibal. They were number 1 seed last year. They lost to the 8th seed, but they were number 1 seed.
That's bad though.
It is.
When
you're gonna fire 2 coaches. You're gonna fire 2 coaches in today's NBA winning records after leading your team to a finals, a number 1 seed. You do lose, so it has to be they lost the locker room or something. And the new coach comes in, he doesn't even get through to the All-Star game. I mean, he gets fired. So
really, really annoyingly bad. But Carl, going back to the concept of the players controlling the NBA, and that's the thing that separates an NBA and NFL. Where the NFL, I mean, it's some strict. I mean, Lamar Jackson showed how strong his ability to do what he wanted to do, but usually it doesn't always work out in the NFL compared to NBA. The NBA, I would say, I think the players get a bigger cut of the money. Like,
well, that's what they've worked for through the collective bargaining and the Players Association. They've earned that, I think, in some ways. I mean, they're getting a bigger cut, but the NBA makes so much money that they're just fighting for whatever they think is fair. But I think that the NBA players definitely have more of a voice, and there's more of a superstar. It's more of a face-driven, name-driven league than the NFL. I think the NFL, regardless of players, while they're superstars, Lamar and Mahomes and Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson, it's different. Like, those guys get hurt, they miss a whole year. The NFL still goes on. If a few big names in the NBA get hurt or retire or go down, that might be more significant, right? But the players definitely have a lot more control, I think, than the NFL, the NBA, or the NHL.
I think with Giannis, and Big Carl says once Giannis feels some type of way, a change will be made. And I think that's, if I was a betting man, it could be something related to Giannis.
I can see that.
I didn't know Giannis was. All right, so I feel like Giannis is really a sensitive guy.
You think so?
Because and you know why? It came from that instance, that situation that happened earlier in the season with the ball. So the ball he scored, he did historic performance. I forgot how much points it was. It was a lot, and he couldn't find the ball, and I felt like he was panicking a bit. The running around, I don't know.
Do you feel like do you think he mishandled that situation?
A little bit. Like, you're talking to, let's you're all adults. You just play the game. You all, like, hey, can I get that ball back? I think, like a conversation. He kind of panicked and then started running around, and then he's upset even when he got the ball. He think that wasn't the ball. Like, it just seemed a little off to me. And then to the idea of why they keep Giannis's brother there is to make him feel comfortable. They know the language. He doesn't feel alone. So I think there's like a little bit of cracks of, okay, he's a little sensitive. And for some reason, maybe Adrian Griffin was giving him the business, and Giannis didn't appreciate that. But Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers, he's going to save the day.
we've talked about. I feel like
we have
we talked about. I think we both kind of had the opinion that he was a little overrated, right? That was mine.
No, he's a nice guy. Everyone says he's a really nice guy. He can get you motivated. The X and O's are not there. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, he won with the Celtics. He won with the Celtics when he had 3 Hall of Fame players and Rajon Rondo and a great bench, and which is great. But went to the Clippers, they underperformed, and then he went to the Sixers, they underperformed, and now he's going to another team and all these teams he's been on have had superstars, multiple Hall of Famers. A team's handed to him and saying, "Here you go." I think he was even with the Magic at some point, and it's earlier in his career. So he's been in multiple spots. He's won 1 championship. So I don't know what the whole Doc Rivers thing is. I don't really get it at this point. But
he started coaching 25 years ago. So 1999 is 25 years ago.
It is.
The fuck?
Damn.
I graduated
high school almost 25 years ago. That's crazy.
We are old, man. Anyway,
we are.
So he won the Coach of the Year, which means nothing in NBA. NBA, actually, you may not want to get Coach of the Year in the NBA because some reason you get fired. I don't know. It's such a weird. I don't think that necessarily happens in the NFL like that. But he won it, and then he went to Boston. He was there for about from 2004 to 2013. He won that championship where him and the rest of those players milked the shit out of that 2008 championship.
Yes, they did.
Like you didn't do a three-peat. You won once, but then he went to the Clippers, which I think the Clippers is probably the biggest letdown. You have Chris Paul, you had Blake Griffin in his prime, you had Jordan over there in his prime,
JJ Redick. They had guys. They had Richardson, Quentin Richardson, Lou Williams. They were loaded.
Yeah, they should have won a championship.
Yeah,
at least one championship. And the running joke about Doc Rivers is like, well, he's not going to win that Game 7.
No,
the Game 7 is happening. He's not going to win. I don't know his record for Game 7s. I should look that up.
Well, he lost Game 7. He lost the Game 7 to Kobe in the finals, right? Yeah. He's lost Game 7, I think, to like the Rockets and OKC and a couple teams when he was with the Clippers. I think he lost the Game 7 maybe with the Sixers to a couple teams. Yeah, I think he's definitely overrated. I don't know. But to let go of a guy that's only been there not even half a year when he's got a winning record and they're 2 in the East, yeah, definitely superstar driven. I think they didn't like him. Something happened, and they said, you know what? Let's side with the players. Let's bring in a coach. And I hope Doc Rivers does well. If not, he's got a tall task because it's championship or bust. There's no they're gonna make the playoffs clearly, 1, 2, 3 seed. So if they don't win a chip, that's some people are gonna be pointing some fingers. So
yeah, but right now it's Celtics, man. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess he's supposed to beat the Celtics.
That's the team. Oh, and maybe the Sixers. You got the Pacers. You got who else is on the East? I mean, it's a couple of teams there. The West has got a few teams for sure. OKC, Phoenix Suns. Obviously, they've been pretty good lately. Knicks in the East have been surging the last 3-4 weeks. So definitely some good teams. But yeah, if they don't win, and they just got Damian Lillard, so that's a lot of pressure.
Does Doc Rivers have pictures of some of these owners in compromising positions? Does Doc Rivers knows what Epstein's list is? How is he able to continue to get work? So the first thing I remember when Adrian Griffin was fired, had a few, you watch a few NBA countdown shows and ESPN, and they're like, I don't like this. It's not good. Fire a guy with with kind of record. What's going on? Is it because of blah blah blah? And then they immediately erase all of that racial stuff with hiring Doc Rivers. God damn it! I guess black guy for a black guy. I guess that's fine. Doc Rivers has a record of 6 wins and 10 losses in Game 7s.
That's horrible. That's horrible. And it's not like he's taking bad teams to Game 7s or mediocre teams. He's taking teams that are good teams that most of the games they're probably favored to win. So I don't know. I feel like it's an interesting hire. It's just a name. I think they have enough to win, so they're trying to just get over that hump, I guess. And he's been there. He has won an NBA championship. But, I mean, I think they would have been better off just sticking with the Mike Budenholzer or whatever. I think they're probably just as good, if not a little bit better. So to have 3 different coaches within basically, one calendar year, not good for an organization that has 2 superstars on the team.
Well, I think with the Mike one, I think they thought they needed someone else to go to the championship level, which again, he just won it. So it's I don't know what's going on with in Milwaukee. And I mean, you live there. Like, what's happening? Yeah, all right, fair enough. I agree with Hector. Jalen Brunson, top 5 point guard. I think. So yeah, right. I mean, okay, so you got Curry.
He's
you got Lillard. Yeah, he's top 5. Who else?
Okay, so let's talk Curry, Lillard. Who else? SGA from the Thunder is better than him right now, don't you think?
He's not a shooting guard. That's a point guard.
Yeah, SGA is a point guard.
All right, then. That's top 5 though.
De'Aaron Fox.
Oh shit! All right, I'd rather
how about the kid from the Pacers, Halliburton or whatever his name is? He's having a pretty good year. It's close, but he's 5. If he's in the top 5, I think he's 5.
I think we're all gonna be really.
You mentioned Luka Doncic, so I mean,
I mean, he was balling. Actually, he had an ankle. His ankle's hurting. They're playing the Suns right now. They were up by 16. Then they got the Suns ward back, basically tied it by halftime. I'm gonna check the score real quick. Luka had like a little bit of an ankle issue. I don't know if I think he's still playing. Oh goddamn! Yeah, the Suns just pulling away. They're up by 20.
Great.
Hopefully Luka's okay, because without Luka, and then Kyrie's hurt all the time.
He is.
So like I don't know what's the future with the Mavericks, because they just having injury issues. I'm not too confident with the Suns. But they're doing what they're doing now. They're blowing out the Mavericks, so they have that ability because I think everyone is actually healthy. At least the big 3 over there.
They are. Well, you got Booker. I didn't mention Booker. Devin Booker is playing point guard this year, so Devin Booker is better than Jalen Brunson. So I think Brunson's 5-ish, maybe 6 or 7. He's somewhere in that range. It's
going to be a riot, Pedro, if Jalen Brunson is not an All-Star team. We got to have him on there. He should be there.
He's going to be
figure it out. Yeah.
Because usually what happens is somebody gets in and they're hurt, or they want the weekend off, and then there's alternates. Jalen Brunson's definitely an all-star. Yeah, that's definitely should happen. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to make sure, because that'll be the first all-star we've had on the Knicks since I couldn't tell you.
Carmelo Anthony?
Probably.
I would say probably Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Let me look that up. Who was the last Knicks
Hector
all-star play?
Let us know. I mean,
Hector. No.
Yes, would be Carmelo, unless there was somebody. Did Kristaps Porzingis make it one year with the Knicks? Maybe.
He's another one that irritates me. He's in the Celtics, playing well. All of a sudden, he's getting it. Like, fuck it. Like the Knicks drafted this dude, and he was so impatient that he was like, I gotta go. And he could have stayed. He could have been like that statesman that kind of just stayed with the Knicks, but he didn't want to deal. He was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And became irrelevant when he went to the Mavericks.
Well, and then now he's with the Celtics. You know, he's bouncing around a little. I think when he was with the Knicks weren't that good. I think he wants to win too. Right. Maybe.
Yeah, it was impatience with that. I think it's something with his brother. I think his brother was like his agent too. They were doing a lot of things. They seemed like they weren't interested in being in New York. I am really, really. I guess I should be sad. I should be mad at myself. The last NBA All-Star for the Knicks was Julius Randle.
He's been in the last couple. Yeah, he's probably made 1 or 2 All-Stars
twice, 2021 and 2020. That's insulting. I should know that, because you know what? I'm so busy trying to trade him, and we're not trading. I know the Knicks.
I feel like a lot of Knicks fans. I feel like enough Knicks fans don't like Julius Randle. Is that a fair assessment?
We'd rather have somebody else.
Yeah.
If you could, which I don't know if anything is even available, I don't think there's anything available that get what you want.
I want, as a Knicks fan, I want you to read that comment right there, Hannibal.
I may be out of pocket with this one, but Brunson has done more for the Knicks than Melo did. Well,
Hector, you on that yak, bro? You on that?
Well,
yak?
I would say the Jalen Brunson deal is better because he came in as a free agent, and the problem is with Melo, we traded everybody, everyone, all of our up and like youngs. And then it was just him. It was him and Stoudemire. I don't know. I think we don't like Melo now, especially he's saying some weird shit. He said that it's a bit disrespectful. I'm paraphrasing that that Joker is wearing his number, and I'm like, are you lost your mind? Like, Joker just won. You remember he won a championship. You never won a championship at all. Like, what are you talking about? He may win another MVP. This is it. It's over. Like, Joker is the most important person ever in that organization.
Well, I think he's saying that maybe he felt like his number shouldn't have been given to anybody, I guess, because definitely Joker's gonna have a better career. He
already has a better career.
Exactly. So I don't know if he's arguing. I mean, he can't say he's been better for the Nuggets, but maybe he feels like nobody should have worn his number. It should be retired when he didn't even give him to the finals. So and he wasn't like there forever. He went to the Knicks. So
I appreciate him wanting to play for the Knicks. So I got love for Melo in that aspect, right? Like, and that's why. And the thing is, he's always hanging out in New York. He don't go. When is he ever back at Denver? I don't see him check out a Denver game. He's always in New York. I think he was in New York the other day. Like, he's more East Coast. So to think that and remember, he wanted this He's like, I'm leaving. So I don't see where he thought this loyalty of holding a number when probably at this point this guy may become one of the best centers ever played the game.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not a contest. So it was a little weird. I feel like a little sensitive when he said that.
I think you're probably right.
Syracuse number. Melo. Yeah, Melo's a Hall of Famer. He did his thing, but you could tell he has a new podcast with him and this guy named Mero. I don't know if you know Jesus and Mero, but anyway, I forgot it's called. It's a pretty decent podcast. But he was talking about that with Joker. I'm like, you're not on that level, man. It's over with that. It's he's still one of the greatest players ever play, but Joker may be top 5 when it's over.
It's a good point. I think that's fair. He could. I mean, him and Joel Embiid right now. Joel Embiid's putting together. He just dropped 70. We can segue into the points thing, and he just dropped 70. Cat scored 62. They did it in different ways and different results. But Joel Embiid right now, I saw a stat line. I think he's like 36. I don't know, gang of rebounds, steals, blocks, field goal percentage is good. All his career numbers are like, he just won MVP and his numbers are better this year. Like, Joel Embiid is he's on an incredible run, and that's saying a lot because the guy in Denver, Joker, has been doing it for 2-3 years as well. So these two guys, man, I don't know if we've seen center play this good from two guys at once, and that's saying a lot because we've had David Robinson and Shaq and Olajuwon, but these guys are doing it at the same time, and they're putting up stupid numbers, man. It's just absolutely absurd.
And no one's talking about the 76ers coming out of the East. No one. I think I don't know if they're just all looking at it as just him because at this point, who does he has max? He had Maxey. That's about it in terms of a guy that can score. Harden is gone. So no one's really thinking about the 76ers. So it's going to be difficult to see if he will get some recognition. He may, because if he's not playing, what's the record of the 76ers? Like,
they're not
lottery?
They're below. Yeah, they're below 500 for sure.
Yeah. And then Denver, you still got Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's a beast too. So it's a little easier. It's a better team, obviously, in Denver. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that MVP. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think right now, Joel Embiid probably has a little bit of an edge, but lot can happen. We were talking about this last year between the two, and it was very close, right? Because it would have been Joker's third in a row. Nothing but then Joker's got robbed. Some people
got robbed.
Yeah, but Embiid, great year. So
Embiid was gonna cry if he didn't win. Like, he really it's funny. Joker don't give a shit. Like, I don't think he cares about basketball at all. Like, he just plays it.
It's literally a job to him, but it's crazy.
Yeah. He gets, and then when he's like, he'll say something like, "I don't care a fuck," and then people get really upset. But then he goes and drops like a triple double. It must be infuriating. Well, like Joel is like so emotionally invested, as we all kind of want our superstars to be. Like the point, like he scored 70. He was like, I did, I think about Kobe. The reason why I
yeah
care about basketball. You care about that. When Joker would drop 70, you're like, what's for dinner?
Yeah. He talks about his horses and swimming and going back to, Serbia. I think it is. I think he's Serbian, right?
I don't want to be famous when I'm done. Just leave me alone. I'm like,
it's different. I think the European guys look at the game different. But Luka's European, right? And he's very.
I feel like Kobe though. Like he cares. I mean, the guy don't want to play. He don't want to play any defense. But he's a beast, man. He step back. The step back 3-pointers, it looks like it should be missing. Cause it just looks. I'm like, wow, this guy.
It's crazy. And we talk about. I mean, I think out of the top 10 NBA players right now, and you could, when you get to like 7 through 12, it's kind of interchangeable.
Yeah.
At least half of them are foreign-born players. Giannis, Embiid, Joker, Luka, SGA. He's from Canada, so. But like, there's many, foreign-born. And they're balling out. It's crazy.
Good thing for America that Joel Embiid has his citizenship, and he's going to play for USA in Olympics.
Interesting.
That's cheating, isn't it? That's some bullshit, right? That's a ringer.
A little bit.
He's baller, and he can translate that skill into European style. That the FIBA rules. He's gonna be. I'm like, he shouldn't be playing for the team. He should be playing for. He's like, no, he got his. He's gonna play for the USA. So that's another gold medal. I don't think it'd be much of it. And it's a deep. Well, I've read. I don't follow that much international basketball, but they say it's one of the deeper international, like, I guess, competition. So it should not be a cakewalk, but it should be another gold medal. Right?
They should. I think they just lost in a kind of embarrassing fashion. So now all these other guys, LeBron and Steph and KD and Tatum and Joel, like all the top guys are going to play, so there's no reason they should lose.
Yeah. Hector's want to talk about how much he loves the Knicks. I want to read this comment. So I love my Knicks. We traded Barrett and Quickly. I really wish we didn't have to get Quickly out, but I understand had to make. If you had to get OG, they weren't going to just give you whatever. And Knicks are 10-2 since that trade. I mean, OG his defense, man, and the coach, defense is his thing. Play defense. He's gonna make you run a lot and blow your knees out. Sorry for Derrick Rose, but he's gonna he was responsible. I don't care if he was responsible. He was running him too hard.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Derrick Rose is fine. He's
fine now. Yeah,
he's gonna be all right. But yeah, you're right. Tom Thibodeau's known for that. He did it in Minnesota, Chicago, doing it with the Knicks. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, as long as you're winning and the shit's working, it's all good.
Yeah.
Never will see Olympic team dominate the same fashion as the 92. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, because that 92 team beat up on everyone so badly, it's because we're seeing the Embiids and the Lukas and the Dirk. Like, they saw how much they sucked and they got their shit together.
Well, Michael Jordan, that team, right? Because it had Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, but those guys were older at that point. Larry Bird didn't even play for real. He had a bad back, but he was a big name. And then Jordan and Drake, they basically helped globalize the game. So then little kids at that age, if you think about 92 and who's in the league now and who's watching, and the influence of the 92 Dream Team and the dominance and the star power, right, ascended all these other countries to kind of amplify, and the kids want to play basketball, be like Mike. And we're seeing that in the NBA right now. We have been, for the last 20 years, basically. So I think it's great. They definitely dominated. I think the Redeem team with LeBron and D-Wade and Melo.
Kobe was in that one?
Chris Paul and Kobe, the Redeem team from 2008.
Yeah.
I think that team was pretty stacked as well. They didn't dominate. They dominated, but the only game they really didn't dominate was the game that they to win the gold medal versus Spain. That game was very close. Kobe had to basically bail the team out in the fourth quarter. But the Dream Team dominated every game. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, when it comes to basketball, it seemed like the one spot that internationally that really upped their game was like Spanish teams or even like Argentina. Like, Argentina team, I remember that team was pretty strong. I remember Spain was pretty strong.
Yeah, Manu.
And there's certain international players that like, I play with you guys all the time. You don't scare me. You're not like, I'm sure when they looked at Jordan back in '92, it was like, holy shit, it's like
Yeah.
Like God. Like, but now it's like, I'll play with you you're on my team. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different vibe.
Good point.
And we could transition into the current state of the NBA.
Yeah.
And so I looked up the scoring trends. So just going by early 2000s, the average points per game hovered around 95 to 100 points. That was the average in 2000. Now, the last season, 2022, 2023, the average score was 114 points per game. And this is all the teams averaging. It's a lot of scoring. It's a lot.
They're shooting more threes.
That's where it is. So,
and the defense is not it's not what it was back in the day overall.
This was obviously done intentionally to make the game more exciting, make the game more fast-paced. They were trying to move away from the prison ball. Listen, I love the 90s, but there was a lot of things we're paying for now. That's why everyone's super sensitive, because the 90s, we were doing everything weird. We was watching New York Knicks and Miami Heat beat the shit out of each other. The Knicks and the Indiana Pacers beat the shit out of each other. The Knicks was always involved in fights, whatever. The physical fights, the malice in the palace, and I feel like they really wanted to pull away from the defense and allow the offense to flourish. And then now we have this new style of offense where now the center, the Joel Embiid, is throwing threes around. How much, the post-up game, how much is there even a post-up game anymore? Just the overall defense of some of these plays and the moves that I've seen some offensive players do where, like, they're scared to have a hard foul. There is no hard fouls. A hard foul is a flagrant one. But back in the 90s, a hard foul was a hard foul. Even you fell on your ass, that was a foul. Now they got to go look at the monitor. Oh, well, yeah, that's a flagrant too. Like, they really pulled a lot of the physicality out of the game. And as much as I still didn't watch it. I mean, I was watching the game before we started. There's something missing. And I'm wondering, in terms of the ratings and how we see things progress, where, like, if everyone's able to throw around threes all the time, and the last, I think, 4 players that did 60 points and above, I think it was Donovan Mitchell, it was obviously Karl-Anthony Towns, it was Joel Embiid. I forgot who was the 4th of Booker. I think Devin Booker had 71.
Booker, yeah.
It's happening often now, dude. Like, it's not happening all the time, but it's happening more often than back in the day, where you didn't always hit 50. When someone hit 50 points, that was like, holy shit. Like Jordan, that 55 piece, like, holy shit. Now it's like, oh, he hit 50. Like, Bradley Beal may hit 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different flip.
So interesting stats. So we talked the other day about Karl-Anthony Towns. Embiid dropped 70 and they won. And then Cat dropped 62, but he only scores 4 points in the fourth quarter, and they lost. And he sat some pivotal minutes in the fourth. And the coach, after the game, basically said, we played bad basketball. We should be embarrassed. And Cat was just chasing. He was wanting to score and not thinking about the team. I mean, when your coach says that, that's a little rough. But
that's not good.
Thinking, how many times has somebody scored 60-plus points or more and lost? It's actually happened like 21 times. So I want to give you a couple of names, and I want to get you guys' opinion, and Hannibal's in the chat. So Hannibal's talking about, we used to not see 50 as often. We're seeing 50 a lot. There's only one exception. 32 times Wilt Chamberlain scored 60 points or more. 32 times. And Wilt Chamberlain, his stats are just stupid, right?
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah.
He did it 32 times, but he lost 11 of those games when he scored that many points. Michael Jordan scored over 64 times, lost twice. One of the games with Boston in the playoffs, he scored 63 in the Garden, lost, right?
Yeah.
Karl-Anthony Towns has done it twice, and he lost. So this is the second time he's done 60 points or more. Bradley Beal's done it once. Damian Lillard 5 times. He's lost 1 time. Devin Booker's done it once and lost. Bernard King.
I remember that. Yeah.
In a losing effort. George Gervin, losing effort. David Thompson in a losing effort. So it happened more often than I thought. I was thinking, man, you score 60 points, you're probably winning. But, I mean, Wilt Chamberlain, the third of the times that he scored 60 or more, he lost those games. To me, it's just a crazy
How bad was his team?
It has to be bad.
Right? It has to be so bad. Like,
points and you lose. It's just weird to me. I don't know.
Well, the problem is also like no one can get in their rhythm if it's just one person scoring most of the points. It's hard to kind of get it, But that, I actually am surprised that many that lost that scored that many points. But what's your thoughts on just the NBA to get right now in terms of offensive play, the pace of the game, the defense? Like, where do you enjoy the product right now? Do you think it should improve? What do you think about this scoring barrage?
It's hard because I think so. Back in the 80s, scoring was similar than it was now. If you look at some of the numbers back in the 80s, especially like in college, because the pace was real different, right? But if we're talking NBA, the 90s was, late 80s into the 90s, Jordan. That's the golden era, right? We talk about golden era hip hop and, late 90s, early 2000s. That's what it was in the NBA. And I was a kid, and so maybe I'm partial, but it was better basketball, better team basketball, I think overall. But I will say this about today's NBA. There's never been more talent in the NBA than there is right now. There is, the guys that are on the bench that don't play a lot, if they were playing on some of the teams in the 90s, they'd be, so the talent level, the athleticism, the introduction of the three has really changed the game for sure. Because now it's not, in the paint, less dunking, less, more threes. Steph Curry has a lot to do with that, right? But, I don't mind today's NBA. It's just different. You have to know what you're watching. But I think right now we have more talent in the NBA than ever before. And some people argue like back in the 50s and 60s, you hear the pundits talking about there's plumbers on the team and it was easy and Bob Cousy wouldn't play in today's NBA. I kind of believe that. I think if you put Bob Cousy in today's NBA, he's not making a team. The guy dribbled one hand, right? So what these guys are doing on the NBA court now, we've never seen stuff like this. It's amazing. So I give a lot of props and I love what they're doing with some aspects of the game, but the physicality of it is way off. Same with the NFL. You can't touch the quarterback. You can't even hit a guy without getting a flag. Back in the day, and very different brand of football. So I think, with player safety being so important, I think that's the reason that physicality is being taken away and the overall competitiveness. So I understand from a safety aspect that you want to protect the players, but it's definitely a little, it's just different. I don't mind it.
I think it's a cultural. I think it's a cultural thing too. I know David Stern before he passed, he was really trying to make the game accessible for everyone to watch. And remember, he was trying to make it not look so hood. I'm just going to say it because he's the one that put in the dress code.
Yeah.
He remember all those fights back in the 80s and 90s where people got knocked the hell out in big brawls. And I think he was really sensitive to that and try to pull all that out. And to the point now where everyone is shooting a bunch of threes. And like I said, the game changed in terms of spacing, the pace. You don't really want a big, slow 7-footer.
No.
Right now, back it in, because that'd be 2-3 threes on the other side. You're down a lot of points, so that does make sense. But I want to challenge you, at least, or ask you the question again. You said more talent. Is it more talent or just more athleticism? So you got guys that are just faster, stronger, bigger, but in terms of like basketball talent or skill. In terms of when you see a game in the 80s or even in the 90s, the skill, you said athletic. I'm sure these guys could jump out the damn gym. But do you see better overall talent skill now? Or is it just these guys are just faster, stronger, and bigger than people?
I think they're faster, stronger, bigger. And I think overall, because obviously back in the day you had guys like MJ, Bird, Magic, Pete Maravich. If you don't, you guys know Pete Maravich. You ever see some of his tapes from LSU and when he was in the league? The guy was doing stuff with a basketball that Kyrie's doing now, right? And he was doing it back in the day. So we've had skill and talent, but right now I think there's more guys that can do what Pistol Pete would do now. And there was only one Pistol Pete back in the day. There's always only going to be one Jordan. And then Kobe came along and he was similar, and Vince Carter tried to do some things, and Ray Allen. So we have, in my opinion, right now, more skill in the NBA overall. I do believe that. We got guys doing things on an everyday night that we see on ESPN. It's like, it's cool, right? but we see it every night. Back in the day, you saw it a couple times a week, right? So the game has changed and evolved. The guys are bigger, faster, stronger, and more skilled. I do believe there's more skill, and it's helped because we have the European League stuff, guys coming over. You got the Euro step, Ginobili, and all these guys brought that in. So we have overall, in my opinion, more skill now than we did in the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. Hector says this NBA is too fast. No post-up game. Almost every team used the Golden State Warriors offense, up tempo, fast-paced, shooting threes left and right. And it does get a little annoying and frustrating sometimes because you think like, what is this tall, goofy ass score at the top of he's going to shoot a three. Okay. And then if it goes in, well, I guess. And then going back to the analytics, right? Like the NBA, just like the rest of the sports, NBA, and obviously baseball is probably the most analytic in terms of that. And I'm sure the NFL does it too. They know the more 3-pointers you shoot, the more chances you have to win. Because it's just that, it's like video game shit. That's what happens when you play the video game. I know you don't play a lot. When you go play NBA 2K, all you do is shoot threes.
Yeah.
Because even if you're behind, you can get back in the game. You hit like 2 or 3 in a row. You're like, damn, that's 9 points. Now this guy's back in the game. So I understand that point as well. I probably need to watch a little bit more European stuff. Do you watch any European basketball? I know there was one NBA player, I forgot. He was in the NBA, but he plays over there. I think it's Jabari Parker, I think his name is.
Oh, Parker. Yeah, I remember him. He's somewhere in another league now. Yeah, I remember Parker.
Yeah, he was doing some kind of podcast interview, and he was talking about how the game is a little better because it's more based on team. It's not individual based.
Yes.
Like he said NBA is more about the individual.
A lot more passing, less dribbling in a European league. A lot more.
Yeah. And I would say, in terms of talking about the Golden State Warrior style, sometimes they pass the ball a lot at times. I mean, then, it goes to Curry to throw the ball and, do a 3-pointer. But a lot of the Golden State kind of came from the Spurs in terms of the passing and some of the stuff, especially defense, because Steve Kerr was, he was a disciple of Popovich.
Well, I mean, and these sports teams, it's a copycat league, guys. NFL, NBA is no different. So you have the Spurs that have a lot of success. Steve Kerr goes to get his own team. He's going to implement a lot of those systems, a lot of the culture, right? And we're seeing it. I mean, it is what, if you can have a team that shoots, for example, 40% from 3-point line, okay? If you can do 40% as a team, and then overall your field goal percentage is 50% from everything combined. And if you get up 10 more threes a game than your opponent, and you make them, you're going to win. So it's just it's simple math, right? At the end of the day,
it's all math.
You get up more threes, and if your percentage isn't that much different, and you're getting an extra point per make, that's just it is what it is. It's part of the current state. So
yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think in terms of fixing it, just lay off the load management, let them play a little bit more. I think load management is not making them healthier or play more games. I think it's probably doing the reverse.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense with the nutrition and these guys being stronger, faster, and bigger, how they are not able to play 82 games when the other guys did.
Yeah.
Is it the other guys just played hurt all the time?
Yeah.
Maybe. It could be like it just played hurt, but I don't know. I think they were able to do it. They were able to do it 20, 30 years ago.
With less medicine, less dietitians, the shoes are better now. Like everything is custom, right? Meal plans, masseuses. Like these guys have everything that a lot of these guys didn't have back in the day. Maybe the top guys did. Jordan probably had traveling that because he had the money. But most of the guys, now even the guy that's not playing is going to have anything catered to him that he wants to make it very easy, right? Back in the day, you had to get on a bus and these, now these guys got private jets. The team, there's just so much more money that the owners and the teams can put into these players. So the comfort level and maybe sense of entitlement and luxury is more. So now we're seeing that I'll take a day off. I'll take this day off. I don't really need to play. We're okay. So it's just a completely different game. I mean, we're never going to get back in the days in the 90s when it was Knicks Bulls. Those kind of rivalries that just aren't ever going to happen again. The guys that play against each other are too friendly, we're not going to have John Starks dunking on Horace Grant and Pippen and the Garden going crazy. Like, that shit's never going to, we're never going to have that anymore, right? We're just, and I think part of it is as fans, we become a little desensitized to like all the oohs and the ahs. That John Starks dunk, everybody remembers that, right? But now, like that shit happens every game. A dunk like that happens every game, right? But it didn't happen much back then, so it was such a big deal. So I think now our level of expectations as fans has gone up, but then the play's gone up. So we're just looking for like we want that nostalgia. We're never gonna have Knicks Bulls like it was. It's just never gonna be that.
Yeah. Hector giving Nova some shit right now. Unfortunately, Nova's talking about the Wizards like talking about third grade basketball. Shout out to Nova Hustles. Yeah, the Wizards are really bad. The problem is they thought, okay, Poole is your team, and that he can't lead a team. I guess that's right. That's the conclusion it came with. Jordan Poole had a chance to kind of do his own thing and show that he can't do his own thing. He needs to be the third, fourth option somewhere else. I don't think anyone thought Kuzma was going to do anything.
Jordan Poole, I think I saw something. Statistically, his plus minus is the worst in the NBA.
He's bad. Really bad, and there's been a lot of times they caught him on camera not paying attention, having fits, and being a bit of a douchebag. So it kind of, you talked about it before about the Golden State Warriors and how you rather keep Draymond and I'm like, no, dude, this guy helped he did help win a championship.
Draymond's way more integral to that team, and we seen how it's kind
of. Both. Obviously,
yeah.
There's a reason why. It's a reason why Jordan Poole left. He was a bit of a douche, and no one. I guess a lot of them probably thought he deserved to get punched in the face. That's just the way it goes. Like they thought, all right, Draymond, that was really bad, and I don't know why you got taped, but thank you for punching that guy in the face because he's so. It had to.
I think
him to leave, the fact they still embrace Draymond. But yeah, that team is terrible. I'm sorry, Nova. Hopefully they get rid of everyone in that team. But going back to the idea with the European takeover, this was supposed to happen like 20 years ago. I remember when it was Dirk and maybe Ginobili. It was a few players, and it was like every year grab just foreigners because this was supposed to happen. And then Darko Milicic and there's a few others that like, no, can't grab every tall European person. They have to play, they have to know how to play. But now, I think I agree with you. Now the takeover is happening. Where you see Luka is phenomenal, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's nuts. And there's the Rockets. I can't tell you his name. I know one of you guys in the chat know. The guy in the Rockets is putting the big numbers. He's doing good things. There's several even younger guys that are coming up and really, really having a good impact on the league. But I think, we can't forget about Yao Ming. When he came in, he was kind of hurt, but he was a big deal, right? From China, Rockets. And then we saw a few other Asian guys get drafted and they never panned out. The Lakers drafted a guy, the Spurs.
If you want to spend an episode of me talking about Jeremy Lin, I would.
We need to, because you've mentioned.
And maybe I'll bring Hector, because I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, we have the same thought that was such. I don't think I've ever seen I don't want to act like I'm skipping. Say I've never seen this before. I've never seen that before. A guy that no one knew come out of nowhere, and in the span of 7 games, is scoring 30. He's beating the Lakers.
Great buzzer
He's dropping buzzer beaters in Toronto. And Melo was like, fuck that. Melo was like, fuck that. I'm hurt and fuck that. He ain't interesting. Like, fuck that. And instead of embracing him, putting the arm around Jeremy Lin, yo, come on, we can do something special in New York. Melo's like, they're not talking about me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it, but I could talk all night about that.
Let me ask you, I think we should do an episode now, like a flashback, a little Jeremy Lin love or
trauma, man.
I'll give mine as an outsider. I do remember sitting with my daughter at a Fuddruckers. I don't know if you had those places.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't think I have a minute. Yeah,
like a burger joint, and watching the Lakers-Knicks game, and the Knicks won. I'm like, damn, Lin put it on Kobe, and it was a big deal. I'm like, what's happening? The Linsanity. Yeah. So as somebody in St. Louis, I remember seeing that. But let me ask you a question. Do you think it had more to do about him being Asian and there never being an Asian guy that did anything?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
The dude didn't. He was sleeping on one of the teammates' like house. Like he was just kind of he got in, but no one really gave him a chance, and it was injury. And D'Antoni was like, just go in, just go play. I guess we got nothing. And then he just started scoring. It was like, what the fuck is going on? And he had a talent. I think what happened with Jeremy Lin, like he had talent, but he's probably definitely needed encouragement. He needed someone to let him know, like, you actually do belong here. You got this. And once he left for the Rockets, and then they had Harden, it's like, what the fuck? Who cares about you? It's James Harden, prime James Harden here. Like, if you can't keep up with him, get out. And that's where it went. And I think Melo did not help that situation. I'll say that he did not. He seemed irritated. I think some of the players were a little upset that all of a sudden he's getting recognition. He's gonna get a big contract.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. And true, definitely he did win a ring. I mean, he didn't play, but he was there at Toronto. He got that ring, but he's not the league. He wanted to play, and they don't want him.
I think he's playing overseas. At least like last year to recent, and maybe even still now, he was playing somewhere. I couldn't tell you where. Somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, Hector got it. Yeah, it was. D'Antoni knows how to work with point guards, so that's the one thing too. And then once D'Antoni left, I think he quit. There was no chance to Jeremy Lin going in because D'Antoni, you need a fast offense, that fast speed, the pick and roll. You had Stoudemire there. Once D'Antoni left, the whole thing went wrong. And Jeremy Lin, I would say that he wasn't good enough to progress on his own.
No,
like if you're a great player, you got to figure it out.
And he didn't play defense. Usually a guy scrappy and a role player, you have to play defense in the usually, unless you could consistently drop 30 a game like a Harden or somebody else. And he wasn't doing that consistently enough.
No.
But Jeremy Lin's story is interesting, man. I mean,
the ending was Miami Heat beating the shit out of him towards that playoff. He looked terrible.
But he had a solid career. He still played many years, a few teams.
Yeah.
If he went to any gym in America right now, he'd bust anybody's ass. Like he's sure. So
I think there could have been more potential there if D'Antoni sticked around. That's my like. If what if D'Antoni was able to stick around? Because I think that was a decent. I mean, that was the last time the Knicks were actually decent. Is when it was Melo, Murray, and now the Knicks are pretty good now.
Until now, they've been last few years, 3 years, whatever. They've been solid. Yeah. They've been in playoffs and stuff like that. So.
I mean, I brought a Linsanity shirt. Okay, now I didn't go outside and wear it outside.
Did it have his face on it? Like, what did it look like?
No, it had like the Knicks, like the font of the Knicks.
Okay,
and it just had like Linsanity, like in like arch.
Did you get it from a street or like a local bodega, or where'd you get it?
I forgot. I may have ordered it online or something like that.
Okay, that's just listen.
It was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed, but I felt it. Yeah, me and my mom watching the games, and we watched that buzzer beater in Toronto. My mom was screaming when he dropped that from the top of the key.
That was great.
It was a very odd time. You watch it 30 for 30. I think they have it on Linsanity. It was odd. It was like, what does Asian dude doing here? And he's pretty good. And then like 2 years later, like, oh, where is he?
Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird. But remember, we definitely need to do an episode because I remember Kenyon Martin talking about him having braids, and it
was so lame.
It was so funny though.
And that's going back with the Melo thing. Like these players or some of them, not every, but and this goes beyond just different types of sports. They're fucking sensitive, man.
Yeah.
And if the attention is not on them, ego, like I said, huge ego. And that's a problem with, even with Chicago, right? Like with The Last Dance, so it's Michael, he's a big personality. Phil's a big personality. Jane Ryan's stuff, big. Like everyone needs these big personalities that could break up a beautiful thing. If not one person could kind of sit back and say, let's kind of talk about this. Let's kind of, instead of getting jealous and going back and forth. So,
saved the Bulls because they had so many personalities and egos, and was that they were winning. Success winning cures everything, and everything can be forgiven. Michael Jordan was punching teammates. He punched Steve Kerr, Jed Butchler. He would, he would gamble at night and do his thing and show up, but he was winning. So when you win, all is forgiven.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about the Knicks for a while. You want to talk about your Bulls, or like other than the current state, like how your Bulls are doing?
Other than they suck. Other than Levine's going to get traded or DeMar might go this way. Yeah, the Bulls are just ever since I feel like when we had Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose and we were beating. We had that good little run. We haven't had anything since then. We've tried. We brought in a few free agents here and there.
Yeah, DeRozan is is so much he can do. I mean, he is the king of the mid range. Kind of bring it. Reminds me of that Richard Hamilton. Like he don't shoot threes. I think he goes out his way not to shoot threes, and just got that mid game on smash.
Mid game.
But like you said, you need 3-point shooters. You need guys that it's not gonna work if you can't do that. So
no,
it is. Oh damn, Hector, that's depressing because that's basically me too. The Knicks sucks since I was 5, almost 40. I'll be 40 in 9 months. So they better be good. God damn.
So basically, you and Hector have had to watch the Knicks not win.
Well, I wasn't alive when they won a championship. That was in the 70s.
Yeah, so I'm saying your entire life you've seen the Knicks just fail. That sucks, man. Whereas I've seen 6 championships in my life.
That's I'm very envious of that. I mean, NBA championships seem to be really cool to be around. I mean, I'm not a big baseball fan, but back in the 90s, the Yankees just won all the time.
True.
But it was cool. But I didn't care. The Giants winning was a big fucking deal. I think that was actually
they won twice.
And they won twice. One time I remember I was at work overnight looking at a really terrible TV, the fatback TVs, little small ones, watching Tyree catch that ball with his helmet. And then the second one, I don't remember too much. I was really inebriated. I remember the Manningham catch.
Plexico Burst had that great catch in the end zone. Who was the other wide receiver that had a toe drag catch on the sideline? Anyway, Eli Manning was balled out in both of those Super Bowls. Crazy throws, and I mean, beating the Patriots twice. I mean, what the Giants did was amazing. Yeah.
We'll probably do a dedication episode of Eli Manning, Hall of Famer, on a Pedro and Hamel channel because, he's a Hall of Famer. So whether you like it or not. You beat the best. You beat the best player ever twice in Super Bowl. You're a Hall of Famer.
I don't know, man. He's threw a lot of interceptions in his career.
Don't hate.
I don't know. Eli, man, it's so borderline for me. I can go either way with this, but I don't know.
You don't get Hector upset. You're going to Hall of Fame.
It's fine. We've been dogging Hector all night. It's fine. We're talking about the Knicks too much. So.
When the last time the Wizards won? When were the Bullets at 78? My dad's balls are barely dry.
Well, that's when they had Wes Unseld, the old guy with the afro. Remember him?
Oh yeah. He was like I think that's what Kevin Love fashioned himself. Like you get a rebound and throw that fucking ball across the goddamn court.
Yeah.
You do not see there. You could like you said. I agree with the sentiment of more skill. Because then we had back in the 90s, I think we had enforcers. I don't even know they could dribble the ball, but they will foul a shot.
You're right. We don't have that today. You don't have a big dude in the NBA that is an enforcer or only does rebounds. You don't.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Who the last one? Haslam maybe, like Donis, and he's actually a decent player, but
maybe. But he was still getting some buckets when he was playing when he was younger. But today's NBA is just way different. But shout out to Wes Unseld, man. We got to bring the Afros back to the NBA.
I agree. I know you clicked this before. So Bobby is not my friend, and he's my enemy. I vote no. Why? Because I want him in the Hall of Fame. First of all, he's getting in regardless because he has the name, and he beat. We all agree that Tom Brady is probably the greatest NFL player, right? Like at least the greatest quarterback. So Eli not beat him once. All right, like, okay, once. All right, whatever. He threw the ball in the helmet, whatever. The man beat him again. How is he not a Hall of Famer? How?
I mean,
thank you, Hector. Thank you. Twice. Not once.
Listen. if we said if Jeremy Lin, just because he played the Hall of Famer, Hector would be like, yeah, Jeremy Lin, put Jalen Brunson in right now. Like he's just gonna tell anybody that wore Nick jerseys in the fucking Hall of Fame. So you cannot use Hector as a point of reference.
Hey,
okay?
yeah. Thank you, because I think Pedro may have forgotten that the Patriots was beating on everybody, had one of the greatest seasons ever.
Yeah,
and had Randy Moss and Eli still beat.
But that Giants team had that defensive line won them, not Eli. They had Strahan.
Eli had to throw the ball to score. I mean,
that defensive line won them that championship. Steve Spagnuolo, I think, was the coach at that point. They were an 8-8 team. They got wild card. They beat the Packers. That team was like a destiny team. And
and Strahan is a Hall of Famer. He's in there, so he needs to be with Eli. Eli is just going in. Peyton's brother. It's the fact that if he wasn't Peyton's brother, it would have been hard. He may have gotten in like year whatever the last year is.
Yeah,
or maybe the middle.
It's a big deal.
He may get first ballot. I'm going to be honest. Should he be first ballot?
No.
But he will be.
That's crazy. I think it's close. I think you're right though. I think you are right.
Yeah.
He will.
It depends on his class. I don't know when is he. He's been out for a minute. So it depends on who's there that retires with him. Like
the next couple year or two.
At least a year or two. Yeah, I think he gets in the first ballot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do a show about it. If he doesn't, we're gonna do a show about it for sure.
Yeah. Look at that. So Hector's upset because you're not acknowledging Eli. The pass was 17 and fucking what? That was another amazing but again, the Giants almost beat him in that last game of the season.
Yeah,
they almost beat. That was a really close game, and the Giants we got this. But enough talking about New York sports. We gotta listen. We're gonna dedicate probably next episode to talk about Chicago stuff. Because
we can talk about the Bulls in the '90s. We could talk about last.
The Bulls in the '90s, not the Bulls now.
Listen. I ain't got nothing about the Bulls right now. Listen, but I do think we need to do that Jeremy Lin, because I think there's other things even to get into with that culturally and just the phenomenon of it. I think that could be an interesting episode, or at least half an episode.
Yeah. I agree.
I wanted to bring some of your attention. I think some of you guys in the chat just kind of close it out. Do you guys? So we know the football, the tight end for the Giants. We're talking about the Giants. Waller. Did you know he's rapping now? Did you see his rap, his video?
No. Is it good?
Darren Waller's rapping. I wouldn't say it was bad. It's not good.
Not good.
So check it out. If you guys haven't seen it, if you go to YouTube or anywhere and type in Darren Waller rap, it'll pop up, right?
Who's the best rapper athlete right now?
Well, Damian Lillard raps. I know that.
He's decent.
Dame's a little bit. Waller's. It's almost like a Drake kind of shit. It's interesting. It's a little. It's a little interesting.
So, Lil Wayne said this recently. I think maybe in the last day or so. He said he figured out why Drake gets so much hate. You want to guess what he said?
What's the reasoning?
You want to guess?
Why he gets so much hate? It's from Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne explained. He broke it down. He said this is why he gets so much hate.
He made Drake in a lot of ways, right?
He mentored him, definitely. I would agree.
Why does he get so much hate?
Why do they hate on him, son?
Because he's light skinned?
Bingo. Lil Wayne said Drake gets a lot of hate because he's light skinned.
Is that the answer for real?
Yeah, it is. And people in the comments it may be true. That's a cultural thing, right? That's another episode of a cultural thing. No, I think it's what he does and what he says. But
light skins have always been hated on.
But that is also true. But Drake has perpetuated some stereotypes of sometimes acting a little too sensitive, and obviously the music has stagnated, if that's a word for it. But that's what Lil Wayne said. I was like, first of all, Drake is successful. He's like Taylor Swift, like that's the level of success they have, and Taylor Swift gets a lot of hate. So maybe just when you're really really popular, and you're such a corporate machine, and it's not a little bit of the art kind of is removed a little bit when you're riding waves of anyone that's popular at the time. You're gonna get your fair amount of hate, and then he does So I don't necessarily think it's the light skinnedness.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah, he's sus. Yeah, it's a little sus sometimes. It's his behavior. I don't think it's necessarily like. But someone said J. Cole. It's like, J. Cole gets a lot of hate. I'm like, he gets a lot of hate. I think some people think he's boring, but not the level of Drake. Drake wants to be out there.
J. Cole is obviously more talented as an MC than Drake is, but Drake is more successful worldwide, right? You know what I'm saying. So I think that's why the hate isn't when you become so popular, if you're Taylor Swift, Michael Jackson, Drake levels, like when you become that popular, you're going to have so many people that don't like you because you're successful. That's just part of it. But Drake's, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think there was somebody that was saying he's not, it was Mos Def, right?
Yeah,
saying
he's pop. He's not hip hop.
Hip hop, he's pop. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think he's more popish than he is hip hop.
True. But I would say, and then my argument was he has hip hop songs.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have hip hop songs, and I think Drake definitely when he first started, was it back 2011? He was rapping. He was trying to find himself. He was doing that backpacker stuff, and he went with trying to get as much of an audience as possible. When you do that, you have to do pop because that's pop music is popular, right? Like, so I understand that. Nothing but Soko says he ain't a rapper.
Mm-hmm. Listen, what he did is he makes music for the radio, right? He makes music for dudes and women, so he's just crossing all the boxes, right? He makes music for everybody. He can sing, he can rap, he can act, he can dance. He's on Saturday Night Live. Once you reach that level, like you're trying to appease everybody and get on the top 40. He's a top 40 rapper. Mos Def has never had a top 40 hit. He's not somebody you hear in.
I think Miss Fat Booty may have went number one. At least it went number one for me.
You know what I'm saying? He's not a household name. The soccer moms with their little Starbucks cups, they'll have no fucking idea who Mos Def is, but they know who Drake is, right? And that's just the route that he went. So
Logic. And that could be a cultural thing too. Now I know people do find Logic reminding everyone he's biracial a lot is annoying.
Yeah,
but it's not that annoying.
Do you like Logic?
Yeah, I like his earlier stuff.
He's
Under Pressure, his first album, really good album.
Yeah,
until he again kind of going a little the pop route. I feel like Logic kind of follows the Eminem playbook. Eminem, he's an MC, hip hop, obviously, but he always links up with like that pop singer to get the big hit. He stopped doing that. I think he realized he was getting criticized. So I feel like Logic had a little bit of that. But Logic just got a lot of unnecessary hate from people like Joe Budden, Charlemagne. And it's just weird because like Logic can out rap a lot of rappers.
It's because of how he looks, don't you think? I think some people it's because of how he looks, and he's what they call it, white facing or white, white.
Well, he's biracial, but it's just you can't tell, kind of. And he raps a lot about being biracial. That sometimes that turns people off. It's like, we get it, but the same person could be a black person and talk about being black every rap song. So it's a cultural thing.
It should work. It should work both ways. He's biracial, and when you're, my ex-wife was biracial, right? When you're biracial, you have this like identity crisis sometimes.
It's hard. It's hard to deal with. Yeah.
You don't feel like you fit in, and you have to pick a side almost. And it's I'm sure he dealt with some of that. He's talked about that.
Definitely, yeah.
So he to embrace that, you shouldn't be hated on for that.
Yeah.
I think to being biracial for some people is not very easy in America. Yeah. So.
Oh, and I think also the Logic just seems corny. As a corny person, I totally understand, but a lot of he's corny, kind of like the Will Smith-ish stuff.
Drake is corny sometimes. He's super.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
It fits the light skin stereotype a little bit. You mentioned it earlier, not me.
I did, yes. I mean, that's what Lil Wayne said, and some of the comments were like, "Yeah, I can see a little bit of that," but no, it's I would say the most of any criticism is based on your body of work and how you behave. That's the real reason, in my opinion. Hector says he has more swag than Drake. I don't disagree.
Listen, any guy that has an avatar of himself sitting in a barber chair with a nice lineup, that's a lot of swag. I'll give you that. That's a lot of swag. I don't know if the airline looks like that right now. I don't know how old, but you know.
Oh damn, Hector! You're trying to say that they're 10 years old, man. The best barbers is, to me, it was always Dominican spots. I always enjoy, they had the best cuts. I mean, the black spot is good too, but it could be either too busy in there or they just it's too busy. Like I got time, and then they take forever, and then they want to talk. The guys watching a movie, I got time for that. Dominicans do the professional, get this stuff in and out.
I want to ask a question because he's somebody that gets lined up and gets fresh.
You said the picture is 7 years ago.
Okay, not bad. The picture was 2017. Okay, so I used to cut my own hair. Now I don't cut hair. I'm a hobo. But haircut prices in New York City, I've been seeing some people paying $100 for a haircut. What's going on?
I don't know. I only if I ever do is just a shape up, and that's like $10. Okay. And then I'll tip, but I couldn't imagine. It's probably $20 something. Some crazy shit.
I mean, for what? Not a haircut. I'm saying $100. Some people are charging.
Probably. Listen, you get to survive in New York, you have to make as much money as possible. That's why this whole the whole food delivery thing. I don't know who's making money here enough to pay for life. I don't know.
40. I mean, when I was the few places I used to go back in the day when I stopped cutting my own, I remember spending $25. So $40, $50. The haircut I paid $50. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Many barbers are making crazy money, man.
How many DoorDash orders you got to pick up to pay for your haircut?
That's a lot of McNuggets, bro.
That's like 4 or 5, like 8 orders just to get. And then the tip, you got to tip the damn person. Crazy.
Yep. It is.
We all got to figure that out. But we didn't talk about the NFL because we already talked about that on Monday. So we rooting for the Ravens, Lions, but it's probably going to be the Ravens, 49ers. Or no, you said Chiefs, 49ers. We'll see. Yes. I'm still debating on which direction I'm going. Am I going with my heart or my head? Probably the heart. Probably going
to if you're betting or not. I'm gonna put like we talked about. If the Lions are getting 7, I'm gonna place a bet for them to cover the 7-point spread. And if it's 3.5 with the Chiefs, I'm placing them to cover because that game will be close or the Chiefs will win. So for me, that's my bet. Both of those together.
Those are safe bets. Like you're not going too crazy.
No.
And I probably asked you that, but then I look at the parlay deals. It's like you want to be a millionaire? Just fucking do an 8-legged parlay on some shit that's not going to happen.
5 total touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna go overtime. Like, it's gonna be a tie. Like some stupid fucking thing. I probably will. I'm gonna try not to do anything too stupid.
1,000, something crazy like that.
Yeah. We'll see. Hector said the refs are gonna be working hard this weekend. For the Chiefs probably because everyone thinks the Chiefs get preferential treatment from the refs. So
people think. Who knows? I mean, if we're going to talk conspiracies like we talked about on Monday, the best case scenario for the NFL and the viewership is Lions Chiefs. You got Eminem, you got Taylor Swift, you got all, a team that's never been there, hasn't done anything in 30, 40 years, and you have the Chiefs, basically America's team, and you got the Swiftie effect. So that, if you want ratings, that's going to be the higher rated game, but we'll see.
We'll see. And we'll break down both those games on Monday. So, guys, be good this weekend. Be safe out there, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.